Hi, and welcome to this reading. I am tired. I'm dealing with some stuff, and I needed to rest, but there are also times where we need to move and just do that little extra when we're trying to build a life for ourselves. And it's an important lesson to understand the nuances of knowing when we need to rest and when we need to move, right? And sometimes our mind can deceive us, and sometimes we'll be too hard on ourselves when we're needing to be gentle. And sometimes we can make excuses for ourselves when we're needing to move, or find things outside of ourselves to drain us, therefore creating a genuine need to rest, but something that ultimately could have been unavoidable. And now, speaking in those terms, right, even that is nuanced, because we have to go through experiences to learn our lessons, right? And I believe if we're repeating a pattern, it's because the lesson hasn't sunk in, and we need to go through it to learn it. But I feel that it's important. I feel like that's going to be part of the message today, to let you guys know, because I think I'm connecting to a collective who might be dealing with some similar energies. I can't even speak today, so I think this is all going to be a part of it, because I was not having that problem before. I step aside to allow through the messages that need to be heard by this collective at this time for their highest good on their journey of healing, on their journey of coming home to themselves, towards wholeness, and of personal and spiritual evolution. Messages of love, light, truth, and clarity. I invite in any whole, unhealed, benevolent guides of this collective who wish to come through at this time with any messages. So, nuance, balance, los dos, both. Immediately I heard pause, rest. Y'all are drained, and you need to really rest and nurture and pour into yourselves at this time. Get your body right, get your mind right, get back to a solid, stable foundation that you can build on. Now, the flip side of that is energy in motion stays in motion, energy not in motion. It can be very difficult without an outside force. Like, it needs an outside force to act on it to get it into motion again, right? So you are being asked to really sit with yourself and be honest and find the ways in which you can navigate resting and prioritizing that without completely letting go of what it is that you are trying to work towards, right? Even if it's 5 minutes a day, and maybe every day can even feel too overwhelming. So maybe 5 minutes 6 days a week or 5 days a week. Little commitments, right? To at least show up for that thing, to keep the momentum going, to keep the energy of that manifestation pouring in that way, and to help establish these confirmation biases within ourselves that we are someone who can show up, right? Because people who are successful, people who have built things in the physical realm, only did it by consistently showing up, even when they didn't want to, right? And so we can only handle so many things at one time. And like, it really is a matter of being honest with ourselves about how big our plate is and what our priorities are and what maybe needs to come off of the plate, so that there's enough room to do what's actually important to you while still being able to maintain this nurturing, resting state. I'm feeling called to pull from the Egypt deck. Egyptian Star Oracle by Travis McHenry. All right, so at least someone in this collective is struggling to express themselves. They're struggling to speak. You can try to journal. You can take a pause, sit within, and get clear, right? And that even ties into being clear with ourselves about how big our plate is. So if there are things that maybe we're not expressing, we're being tongue-tied about, look into the root of where maybe that's coming from within, right? Why are you struggling to speak up for yourself? Is there a childhood story, a wound, a fear? What is causing this tongue tie within yourself, right? And giving yourself the space and the grace to not need to maybe speak too much at this moment until you've figured that out, right? Within, kind of untangled those webs. Oh my God, yeah, okay. Chaos, stuck. That's how y'all are feeling, right? It's just like this, is very stuck energy. And it's funny. So right now I'm connecting to a collective that is dealing with a similar thing. We are collectives, right? We have it. So hi, you're not alone. Okay, wait. A few more. Beautiful. Okay, so we have writing or a person's legacy, followed by authority and power, conflict and war. So this is that's stuck, that chaos, right? You are coming into this point of really coming into your purpose, right? Your legacy, creating what it is that you're meant to create in this life. And it is triggering this internal conflict regarding issues of authority or personal power. And it's uncomfortable. This is a new thing, right? This is probably something big that your soul is being called to do, right? And our old versions of ourselves, our egos, they don't want to shift into that. It's not comfortable. It's unfamiliar. It can come with responsibility. It can come with a lot of things, right? And so as we grow and as we shed and we evolve and we go through these ego deaths, right? Because the ego never dies. It's not the best term in my opinion, but regardless, it creates conflict and war within ourselves, right? As we're like alchemizing these energies, right? And releasing what no longer serves us. But that friction, that is a sign, like, that you are moving in the right direction, right? And it brings this, like, huge opportunity for healing, the following card, right? So it's like, look at that. He is, like, shoving something in his eye that looks horrible, right? I don't want you to shove a giant metal freaking pole in my eye. Like, what is this? Like, it doesn't feel good. When you have a broken bone and it starts to heal, it's like itchy, it's uncomfortable. Like, these processes are not always comfortable. And in the West, we're like sold this false idea of life that it's always supposed to be comfortable and it's always supposed to be happy. And like, you see, the more we try to manufacture these like false comforts outside of ourselves and give ourselves everything that we could have dreamed of, the more miserable and anxious and depressed we are and the more detached we are. And so life is balanced. And uncomfortability is not a bad thing. That's where we grow. It's actually like really, really important to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and not in like a situation where you're being abused, but I mean like within yourself, right? Or within doing that scary thing that you actually really want to do and will actually really benefit you. It's uncomfortable, but it's a good discomfort. And so then the next two cards are creation and artistry, care and nurturing. So yeah, you are in this process where you have this opportunity to heal this old story, move forward to create your legacy, right? Creation and artistry. This might be something that is, I might be speaking to a collective who are specifically artists, music, writing, poetry, painting, whatever it may be. Right? That is how Source expresses through us. And all of that is medicine. People look at a piece of art and they can be healed. Something can awaken within them. They hear a song. All of that is medicine and healing to the collective that it's meant to be for, right? When you create from that space of your heart, that authentic thing. But it also doesn't have to necessarily be a creative pursuit, right? Anything that we build is our creation. Bill Gates built Microsoft. He created a company as his baby. So all of creation, all that is creation, right? It is like the root energy, creation. And so it is a time of care and nurturing, pouring that care and nurturing into yourself, into healing your body, your vessel, into having a stable foundation so that you can, because you are absolutely more than capable. This is your legacy. You're here for a reason, right? Whatever you're going to build, whatever this is that you're doing, you're absolutely more than capable of doing it. But no human being can do those things sustainably when they are unwell. So prioritizing that and prioritizing this creation like it's your baby, because it's your freaking legacy. And that's beautiful. Okay, the Divine Masters deck. Let me get my feet on the ground. I am gonna stay grounded. I'm hearing 8. I'm hearing 3. Is that 2? Perfect. I love it. All right. Buddha, heightened awareness. Make peace with your thoughts and your world. This conflict and war. Spend time within. Look at your plate. Be honest with yourself. Deal with, sometimes as humans, some of us fall into this place of wanting to be able to do everything for everyone all of the time. And we can't. That's not realistic. And when we spread ourselves so thin, we actually can't be of service in the way that is actually valuable or is actually successful, and where it's meant to be, right? But sometimes when we go through these processes of needing to take things off of our plate or step down from maybe responsibility roles that really aren't ours to take and that are imbalanced and that are unhealthy, like if you are a child who grew up with an unstable household and you parentified yourself, right? You put yourself into that parentification role, and can be something that you can repeat outside of yourself a lot. And dismantling from that can feel very painful. It can feel like you are letting people down or like you've failed, but that's not the reality. That is not the reality. It comes from a beautiful place of love, but ultimately it's a thing with the ego that is wounded, that feels like it needs to save the world. No one person can save everyone. No, everybody needs to be accountable for themselves. And at the end of the day, too, when we're doing the work for other people, we're preventing them from having that ability to learn how to grow themselves, you know? Like the difference of like teaching a man to fish versus if you give a man a fish, he eats for the night. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for life, you know? And I'm not saying that it's always your job to teach these people either, but I'm saying it's just, we're not meant to do everything for everybody. So give yourself compassion and give yourself grace. Make peace with that. Make peace with all of it. It's so funny because this is even like, I know it's like the Enlightened Halo, but it looks like a plate. It's like, make peace with your plate. With yourself, like in the center of the plate. Like it always, your self-care, when your cup is not full, you cannot radiate out, right? So remember that. And then Hanuman, devoted warrior, let God's love hold you in strength. If you're meditators, if you're prayers, really take this time to connect in to just that unconditional love. To just pausing and breathing and allowing yourself to be held. Ask for the love and support. Kalima! Love her, okay. Divine severance, cut the cords to dramas, fears, and limitations. Limitations, that's what's really standing out to me in this one. You are limitless. You are so much more powerful than you fully recognize right now. And I think you're starting to see, actually, that you're more powerful than you thought before, right? But you're still only scratching the surface. And this conflict and war is sort of coming from a place of like fear of not wanting to see how powerful you are, how powerful you can be, right? And that can be a natural part of this process too. So again, just make peace with your thoughts and your world and bring as much compassion, nurturing, and grace into this as you can. Because remember, we all have an inner child, right? And that inner child needs to be nurtured and parented through this process. And that inner child is like, where are we going? This is all really scary. And I'm tired. And like, I need your help. So like, help that inner child. That inner child needs your help right now. Extra love, attention, devotion. A little bit of play. Take a break. Go play. Go play. Go play for a little bit. If you feel called. Matter of fact, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. This is just what's coming through. I didn't even start my thing the way I've intended to recently of like, helping you guys set the intention to like intuitively feel for the message, because these are collective messages and they're not always going to be for everyone. And I don't want to take anybody's power. I think it's really important to recognize that we all are linked to divine source, right? and that you can start to like develop your intuition. You can use these readings as an exercise to develop intuition if you feel into the body and like start to learn what is and isn't true for you and connect with your heart space. But so yeah, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. Beautiful, man. Chamber of the Violet Flame, karmic release, radical transformation. Right, that's what's happening. You're going through this healing process. Everything's all shaken up as part of the alchemical storm as you step into your new form. You go in Super Saiyan in this bitch. Seraphim's Gateway, voice activation. Those of you who are stumbling over your words, it's clearing. That's clearing right now, okay? Sit with it, work with it. If you need to pause and not speak and check in, that's fine. Maybe if you're holding back for some of you on something that you know you need to say and you don't want to say it, maybe you're scared of how it's going to be received. Maybe you're scared of what it might make somebody think about you, but you know you need to say it. If that's you, say it. Hold your inner child's hand and say it. And let God's love hold you in strength and say it. And trust that you'll be safe. And so often, oh my gosh, so often, I've struggled. This is one of my things too. So like, so often when we're like terrified to say this thing and then we actually have that conversation, we feel so much better afterwards. It's like such a relief. And so often people surprise us and things don't go the way we anticipated they would go, right? Angelic attunement, divine support. You have assistance. And then higher heart activation, dropping shields, divine love. Your heart is healed. So I think you're still more in the process of that healing right now, right? We're in the healing, but you're moving. You're so close. This is like, boom. The circle, there was a cycle, right? And it's like been completed. And like, I don't know if you can see here, but it's like there's a triangle at the bottom to me. And it's like, all right, here we go. Here's your exit. Like, we're done with this cycle. You've done it, but like now down here, it looks different. Here's your exit. And that's where you're going. You know what? That's it. This is very clear and concise. I feel like it all tied into itself. Sometimes I love to keep going and going, but sometimes less can be more. And especially if I'm dealing with a collective that needs to like nurture and spend some time inside, I don't need to go on and on. So I'm going to leave this here. And if it resonated with you, if you like the way I read, I would be honored if you subscribed or liked the message. Like the message of the video, whatever. If you feel called. I really hope that this helps. And intention shit that it reaches who it needs. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves.